Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7, and today is one of the best reveals we've had in like a year in Epic 7. Quite literally one of the best patch update streams, and there's tons of stuff. Just you wait. Let's get into this. First off, I've taken preventative measures for y'all to not forget the code Commander. Don't worry, I've got you on that. We have make sure you use that for the box. We have 4 things so far. We have Arisa, Edward, Elric, and Roy. With the collab coming, which is pretty sick. We then have the new side story. We have a new hero, Commander Pavel, who is insanely hot and has probably the best skill 3 animation I've seen, I think. We have the magical girl skin, Dien, which is coming as an epic pass. And we have the side story rerun, Dark Side of the Moon. Then we have more. We have a music player, which is kind of nifty for those who enjoy it. And we have the arena schedule. Look at this background with this amazing Full Metal Alchemist collab going on here. And just in case you forgot it from 30 seconds ago, we have the video box password is Commander. So we've got Edward Elric here. And before we get into this, this video is sponsored by Square Enix and Octopath Traveler, Champions of the Continent, an awesome new mobile JRPG that's kind of exactly like the original Octopath experience. It's single player, based on story. We see wealth, power, and fame. I personally picked Fame. It has been a wild story so far, and you can download Octopath Traveler in the link description below for free on Android and iOS, and I do mean wild. For example, a little bit of a spoiler here, but the main dude in Fame actually really likes to commit adultery and stab people afterwards. And it's been really interesting trying to traverse that, because like, what do you do with that guy? We can see a little bit of the combat here. I'm really enjoying this. Personally, I was pulling for Tressa. Her banner's gone now, but don't worry. There's Primrose coming up. There's all sorts of new characters that you can pull for as well. And of course, in the link description down there below is where you can download Octopath Traveler for free on Android and iOS. Okay. Are y'all ready to watch this video? The showcase? Oh lordy, it's so good. Let's watch his little showcase here. Edward. There we go. Let's watch this together. There he is. You thought he was hiding. He's not hiding. He was there the whole time. Look at this. Look at it.
Right after, when he transmuted his brother's soul onto a suit of armor.
So good. So good. He also has a really funny sitting animation, and then we'll go through his skills.
We'll be able to meet Edward Elric in the limited summon starting August 25th. Thank you.
It's so cute. Okay, let's take a look at his skills here, because he seems pretty busted, I think. I think he's the best unit of the banner, just judging from the starts. So we have 117 speed. He's a fire warrior Ares. We have self-crit imprint chance, which is pretty much like the best imprint outside of speed. Super, super OP. Really high HP and defense, low attack. So obviously he's going to be a bruiser of sorts. And we start off, by the way, I think all 3 characters have passives, so good way to balance. We start off with equivalent exchange here, and that is after being attacked, when the caster has a debuff, dispels 1 debuff and activates Rise. Once per turn as well, which is pretty insane. And remember, he has 117 base speed, so he can cycle turns pretty well. Hiccups. And Rise here attacks all enemies with ground thorns, dispels 1 buff, and inflicts a random debuff for 2 turns. So pretty sweet here. And then of course it does damage, and it's going to do a ton of damage too, proportionate to caster's max HP. And the random buffs are decreased attack, decreased hit chance, provoke, silence, or restrict. And then again, just in case you missed it, the video gift box is Commander. Now we have, I'll show you our differences here. This is a skill 3 and attacks the enemy with Alphonse. It increases the combat readiness of the caster by 50%, which is pretty insane. Because remember, somebody else will go, he'll proc his passive, he'll go, and then he'll be 50% higher and get to his passive again so much faster, right? So this one, also when it's not a boss release monster, I hate when they do this. Damage dealt proportionate to max health, and damage dealt increases every time this skill is used and can stack up to 3 times. And Soul Burn, you can bring it down to like 2 turns or something like that. I think it's 4 turns with Molagora. We then have I'll Take on You, and this attacks an enemy with a transmuted blade, grants a barrier to the caster, which seems pretty powerful for a skill 1, I think, and of course proportionate to the max health, both damage and barrier strength. We then have Full Metal's Automail. There's the art there. This one is pretty insane as well. I don't know how practical this is going to be, but this is just a base 10% crit chance increase. After an extra attack, and remember he can do one of those every turn, he gets 8% crit damage and 8% speed. That seems wild to me. Getting an extra 24% chance of speed, 24% speed is just wild to me. The crit damage is good as well, so you don't have to build him with 350. You can build him with what, 32, so 118 or 318 or something like that. Yeah, he's got a pretty stacked kit. We'll see how he works, and he's a warrior. Really tanky stats, really bruisery. And then we have Roy Mustang here. So let's bring up this and go watch a little bit of Roy. This one's insane too. Watch this. So cool. So cool. And we also have this
Players
here.
will be able to meet Roy Mustang in the limited summon starting September 1st. Thank you.
Okay. Let's go back to his skill set here. And he is a fire mage, as we all knew, but he's not taking over Era's slot, which is kind of surprising. And of course, the video gift box is Commander. Don't ask me again. We have Roy Mustang here. 112 speed, 645 defense, 1412 attack, and 4200 HP, which usually means they're just going to die, but he's got a little surprise for that. And his self-imprint is attack as well. And if we take a look of Hero of Ishval, so at the start of the first battle, it grants 40 Fighting Spirit and grants Flame Alchemist. And then damage suffered in 1 attack cannot exceed 51% of his max HP after it's Molagorad, which is why his 4248 HP is not too brutal. And then we have Flame Alchemist, increases the hit chance and attack by 20%, and it can't be dispelled unless you're attacked by an Ice Elemental hero. So that's just on permanently until you get hit by an ice unit, which is insane. 20% hit chance, 20% attack is a lot. And remember, with his attack here, he's got 1412, so that's massive. We then have Scorching Heart, and this consumes 80 Fighting Spirit. So, like I said, we start the first battle off with 40% here, and then we need double that to activate skill 3. And after increasing the attack for 2 turns, let me check something. Yeah, just making sure I didn't miss anything. After increasing the attack, increases the attack of the caster for 2 turns, attacks all enemies, so he attack buffs first, with a consecutive barrage of flames, and grants Flame Alchemist to the caster. When there are 3 or few enemies, damage dealt increases. So, again, this also grants him Flame Alchemist, so he has 2 sources of this, which seems insane. And then his generating Fighting Spirit here. So attacks the enemy with flames, increases combat readiness of the caster by 15%. When used on the caster's turn, if the caster is granted Flame Alchemist, activates Heat Wave instead of Ignite. So Heat Wave attacks with a huge flame, increases CR by 30%, penetrates the target's defense, and does not trigger a dual attack, and you can Soul Burn an extra turn as well. So, correct me if I'm wrong, 40 Fighting Spirit at the start, right? And he needs 80 for this, so he needs to attack twice to be able to use his skill 3. Am I correct there? Anyway, seems pretty good. His artifact is kind of boring and basic, but it's also really good. The art's right there. Basically 20% hit chance, 14% attack. When you really hate Violet, you know? When you really hate Violet, there you go. And then we have Arisa, Hawkeye. We've got another video to watch. What a day today. I'm having fun. And here we go. That poor rat. Mouse story.
Risa Hawkeye, アメストリスの軍人です。皆が幸福を享受できる未来のために。
Pretty cool.
Inside story starting August 25th.
She's cleaning her gun, and look how happy she is cleaning her gun. And as for her stats and skills here we go. Ice hero, but it's not a wyvern unit, which is interesting. So we've got Arisa, Hawkeye, Ice Ranger. Her first ability here is 16% or 17% crit chance, which is fantastic as always. Can never stress how good these imprints are. And she's a free unit, by the way, so you're going to get this for free, which is pretty insane. Got 30% base effectiveness, decent attack, actually average attack, average all the stats, decent speed as well. So I guess they took like the higher stats and put it in effectiveness, which is not terrible. We then have devoted support. Okay, so when the foremost ally is attacked by a single attack, decreases the damage suffered by 20%. So up to 30% with the Molagora. And in the video, it showed Asenya taking a kick to the face and living, which is pretty nice, but at the same time, 30% damage reduction and still almost killed. And of course, the nerf to PvE there. Oh, it's not this one that nerfs PvE. Never mind. When the foremost ally's health is 50% or lower after being attacked, dispels all debuffs. So, after she's attacked, or whoever in the front's attacked by Huayang or something, they're going to dispel all the debuffs. They're going to grant Hawkeye to the caster, and they're going to dispel all buffs, and Hawkeye's effect can only be activated once every 3 turns. Sorry, I said that horribly, but it's here to read for you. Hawkeye increases speed and critical hit damage by 30%, and it cannot be dispelled. We then have All Out here for skill 3, and this is dispels all buffs on a target, decreases CR by 50%. Remember, she has the effectiveness boost as well. And then she grants immunity for 2 turns and exploits the weakness once to the caster and the foremost ally. So the 2 people are both going to get exploit weakness and immunity, I believe. I think the front line gets immunity as well. And exploit weakness is just a 20% increased damage boost. And of course, the soul burn is ignores ER, which is fantastic. And down back here, Jesus, these kits are something. Attacks the enemy, firing a pistol, 35% up to 50% to target for 2 turns. When the caster is granted Hawkeye after attacking, increases CR of the foremost ally by 20%. We then have Sharpshooter's Handgun, one of the least impressive artifacts here, 25% effectiveness and 70% chance to grant increased speed to the caster for 1 turn. Increased speed is a pretty sick buff though, so maybe somebody will find a use for it, right? We then have drop rate up for Edward Elric on the 25th. I think I missed the other part too. Yeah, I missed the other part, but I think it's the week after for Roy. We then have Commander Pavel, who is super sexy, and let's go watch another video. And this one's insane. Insane. Bonkers.
For an insignificant person like you, death is too kind a gift. I'm with Perland.
How insane is that? Absolutely ridiculously insane. I'm just trying to find his sitting pose. Did they not show him sitting? Interesting. They don't show him sitting. Okay, so here he is. Let's take a look at his skill set. He is a light ranger. He has a beautiful smile. He has 18% self-imprint for attack, 109 speed for a little slow, but don't worry, we're gonna fix that. 1327 attack, 23 base crit chance as well. Yeah, and obstacle elimination, which is his skill 2 here. At the start of the first battle, it grants 60 fighting spirit. After an ally, except for the caster, makes a crit, gain 20 fighting spirit. When fighting spirit is full, consumes all fighting spirit to activate Begone. This effect is not activated by a counter, dual attack, or extra attack. And Begone increases attack of the caster for 2 turns, attacks all enemies by firing a gun, and increases the CR of the caster by 50%. Ridiculous. And then we have Die You Fly, which, holy, there's a lot to read today. Attacks the enemy with a pistol when the enemy is not a boss or elite monster. There's that PvE nerf. When the caster's attack is greater than the target's attack, penetrates the target's defense with a penetration rate, increases proportionate to the difference up to a maximum of 70%, so he works just like straws. And of course, we can 10 souls reduce cooldown, which is pretty nuts, right? It's on a 4 turn cooldown, we can do 10 souls. Seems insane, absolutely insane. And then we've got Sloppy. How Sloppy activates just attacks 65%, 75% to decrease attack. Nothing special here, but it's sloppy. Okay, got more. The video gift box, the password is Commander. We then have Magical Girl DN. The skin is finally coming. It's coming as, by the way, Pavel's on the 1st. It's finally coming as an epic pass skin. It looks amazing. If anybody hasn't seen it, go watch the video as well. We've got a side story rerun. We've got a music player added. We've got the arena season ending this Sunday, and the preseason starting on the 22nd. We've got Sigrid drop rate up, don't do it. We've got Kisei drop rate up, don't do it either. We've got Charles drop rate up, don't do it either. Save for all of the things coming. And then we have the Mystic Summon rotation, of course, on the 1st, coming with Commander Pavel and Crescent Moon Rin. And finally, the video gift box password is Commander. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments below what you're most excited for. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.